Oh, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mischief TV. Hold on. What's up, guys? So today we're going to be working on my 79 Enticer 250 snowmobile. Now, hi FedEx guy. Hopefully you're bringing me my packages. You guys may have seen this in a couple of the other videos in the background. We've had this thing for actually quite a long time. We've done a little bit of work to it. When we got it, it needed some new seals. It didn't really run the best. So we did all that, and we realized it needed a new piston and ring. So we went through that process, and we realized we had to pull the block apart. So now it's back down here at our home shop, so we can go ahead and tear it apart. Yeah, let's just get into it. This video is going to be a little bit different, so I'm going to try not to yap as much as more as I'm just going to try to do stuff. We're going to try to be on the tripod a bunch more. So if you guys enjoy this video, make sure you guys go and leave a like. Make sure you comment, you subscribe, and go check out the store at themischiefstore.com. I'm always going to plug that. It's my own store. I really am happy with how it came out and how everything on the store looks. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, please go check it out. And yeah, let's get straight into digging into this thing. This will be in a video some point, but it's out. We're getting it ready to move. We'll see you on the other side. Before they left, we went to the same McDonald's and they made it through the line before we did. I hate this I hate this place. I had to watch my language there. I talk very bad about McDonald's. Their nuggets are good, their fries are good, and that's about it. Ta-da! Alright, you guys are on the tripod now. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pop the hood open here. I had to take the hoodie off. It's getting a little bit warm. 1, 2. And then we'll pull it up all nice and pretty like. Gonna have to fix that. As you guys can see the motor here, we've gone ahead and painted the fan shroud. I'm going to take off now. We did some of this work you guys haven't seen. We were hoping to have this done last winter and have it in a video pretty much right after the pit bike went out, and it never did. So let me take this off. I will show you exactly what we have to do to get this thing apart. This is what your standard engine bay on a 79 250 Enticer looks like. It's a little race snowmobile. So I'll show you here while we have the camera in our hand. That is the new piston and rings that we put on. It is a little dirty. I got to clean it up a little, but it sits just like that, and the head goes over it. See, I already got stuff on my hands. Just like it was on there, just like so, like this. But I have to get that piston set into the rings like that and probably sand them down because they're a little rough. But yeah, I have to take the entire half of the block apart from the clutch. Again, we replaced the center shaft in here and squeeze the head into it. So hopefully we'll have it done in the next couple of days and ready for winter. I mean, we still got a couple months probably before winter, but we're getting pretty close. Indiana snow is like the flick of a switch. One day it's warm, one day it's cold. So yeah, let's get this torn apart. I'm just gonna kind of time lapse me pulling some things out, and then yeah, we'll get started on the engine teardown. Here's the pile of parts that we already have off. We have the fan shroud, we have the exhaust, we have the block, and we have the head here. We also have all the gaskets and the headlight piece, some extra bags, and some old pieces that we took off. Like I said, we've done work to this already. None of it's been filmed because we were really hoping to just cruise through it real quick and get it done. But obviously that didn't happen. We're almost a year into having it now, and nothing really has happened to it in almost 6 months. So we're going to get it apart. Now that we've got all of that obnoxious stuff out of the way, the next step is going to be to get this belt off of the clutch assembly so I can start taking it apart and get the engine unmounted. So I'm going to have to lift the rear end and figure out how to get this off myself. So this is going to be pretty fun for you guys to watch. This is what I'm going with. We got the track lifted up and it's not hitting the jack. It's the best mounting point I can get. So back to the tripod and let's get the belt off. We're going to go ahead and try to wiggle this off of here. Normally I don't show you guys the full process like this. I would just skip to me having it off. But with this build, since it sat so long and I've been trying to figure out what to do with it, honestly, what we're going to end up doing is I'm going to walk you guys through every part of the process and every annoying part. That way I can fully show you guys that anybody can do this. I mean, we have about $200 in this sled so far. And, wow, I'm just not... Honestly, we're really happy with it. I mean, we were told it ran when we bought it, and it ran for a total of about 30 friggin' seconds, and was toast. So, man, I might just have to get this clutch off of here to pull this belt off. That's annoying. Last time we just tried this out of here. I don't know if this one's gonna be any prying. This is... Last time we put this together, we were really hoping it wasn't coming apart. Which, you know, mistakes on us, I guess. Oh, shit. No, I'm gonna have to take this clutch assembly apart before I can even take that belt off. That's annoying. We've got some blocks of wood in here now to kind of hold the piston where it goes. You can see it's not super tight, but it will be when I spin on it. Hopefully I can just manhandle this thing. There we go. Man, that's a process, ain't it? Alright, we've got the main clutch holding bolt out. It looks like it is just the nut and the bolt, so I had to break both of them. That's why it's so hard. And then I might have to pull this off. I think I have to pull that off with a puller. As of right now, I already loosened up the 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if I move this piece of wood, there's all the way back here. There's a mounting bolt for the engine. I've already loosened them up. So we're going to try to keep our wood blocks in here. I'm going to go ahead and take those out. We should at least be able to get the engine unbolted from the actual chassis and be able to get the belt off that way. And then we'll flip the motor and we'll try to get it off straight up and down. It's just I can't get an impact or anything on it as it sits.
From a husband who planned a trip on which he intended to destroy his wife and did kill her lover.
You can see the 1, 2, 3, and 4. I took the one out back here. So, hypothetically speaking here, other than a couple of wires there, the whole block should. Yep, and then I can. Oh, I gotta do it the other way here. Yep. Yep. And then a little wiggle action there. We have the belt off. So here's mission 1. Here's the fun one. Everything should be unbolted and not live. Let's get our bracketry out of the way that definitely needs a new paint job on it again. Set everything out of the way. Alright, Mr. Carburetor, sir. I'm going to need you to come out of there. Thank you. Now we'll come here. Alright. Oh. See, you're a fuel line. Probably pop that one off. We got some wires down here I can't get off, so the engine might just have to sit like this. Alright, we're switching sides here until I can get a crankshaft puller. We're going to start taking apart this side. As far as I can tell, nobody's done like a full breakdown of this snowmobile. That's why I'm trying to do a full one for you guys. This video is probably going to be like 30 minutes, 40 minutes long. I'm sorry. I apologize now. Please watch the whole thing. It'll be worth it at the end. I'm going to skip little things like me popping all these bolts off. Probably the next thing you see me popping this off. but I'm going to keep it very hands-on. All the hard stuff, I'm going to show you guys how I'm doing it. Hopefully it helps somebody down the road. Right now we're going to work on popping the ignition coil off, taking the ground off. We'll just take this off as one unit, probably just let it hang over there somewhere, and then we'll work on getting this cover out for the pull cord. Got this fan cover off here. Should have all the bolts out of the surrounding sides. It should just pull. There we go. Should just pop on out of the way there. I didn't think I had to take those little ones out. It is still attached to the ripcord, so we got to be a bit careful about that, but this frees us up some room here. Oh yeah, that's nice. This is how we did it last time. I remember. I remembers. All right, there's 3 bolts here, and this, I believe, has to go in the exact same position it comes out. So I'm going to grab a marker real quick, make some markings, and then we'll pop 1, 2, 3 out. We got to get this center nut off as well. And then, yeah, I think we'll just assemble it from this side. It'll be easier to get to the piston from where we're at instead of taking the clutch off. If I remember correctly, this is how we did it last time as well. So, yeah, don't mind the head being used as a weight. Now that all those screws are out of there, we can go ahead and take our nice little pan with our bolts and just set it out here to the side. And it looks like we got to hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these. So let's pop them out. We got a piece of PVC pipe in there to keep it from moving around too much. But for anybody wondering, these are a 10. You can see it there. And the ones 1, 2, and 3 were a 12. Now that we got all 6 of those out, they're sitting over there in the parts pile. This should just, yep, come right off. And then I believe we have 1 down in there, 1 on this side, and then we also have to get this center nut off. So that'll be next. This is a big old nut. It's a 15/16 inch. We actually got the inch all the way shoved in here so the piston's not moving. And it's slowly moving. So let me put the camera down or put it on the tripod and we'll crank it off. Stator mounting screw is out. Or mounting nut, I guess. Alright, you can get to this stage without needing a puller, but after this, you're going to need one of these fancy harmonic balancer pullers. Let's see if we can get it. Well, it seemed like it was off of there. Now that we've got the stator off, we need to take 1 and 2 bolts out to get the rest of it out. I guess that was the stator housing. This would be the circuits and everything. So to get the circuits and everything out, we got to take those 2 bolts out. These are 10s. Very quickly zipped those out. And then this should, if I remember correctly, kind of sort of just pop on, maybe pry out of there. I don't really see another bolt holding in. I can't remember how we got it out last time. Oh, we just need a little persuasion. That's cool. See, that's what we're plugged into, so we have to be very careful not to screw with any of these wires and get this out, and then we can have the block separate. So, hold on. You can see the lines I made last time, which is why I wasn't too concerned on making Sharpie lines this time. I went ahead and drew them on the stator circle cap, or on the stator wiring there. But not on the cap. I already drew enough on it last time we took this out, so I have my markings. But now that we have this, we gotta feed some wire into it right there so we can pop. Oh, there we go. And then I have to get every single one of these screws out. So we'll catch you guys in a minute. All right, when we tore it apart last time, we changed this seal here. This is as far as we got, so I'm gonna have to get creative. I've sprayed some lubricant and some, it's actually like chain silicone for bikes, but it does a really good job at taking some of this stuff off. I also might get some assembly lube. That's what we use on the Bird, or I might just get some standard WD-40. We'll see if I can't get these out. Some of them look kind of stripped. That's what I'm worried about, but we'll work on getting them apart. We have to get this center shaft bearing back out, but I think once we get the casing off, I might just pull as one, so we'll see. So while all that is soaking in, we're going to go ahead and get this bottom mounting plate off for the block. With all the 4 of these out, this will come right off. These are 17s, for anybody wondering. I do not understand in a million years why they would use Phillips in very accessible socket bolt places. This is so annoying. And of course, the screwdriver that I have that fits starts to strip out of it. So it's looking like I might have to drill every single one of these out, which is absolutely terrifying. I'm gonna see if I have better screwdrivers. All right, there's two things going through my head right now. One, buy a cheap go-kart engine with a clutch, swap it on here, call it a done day. Try to do that. Number two, try to get all these bolts out that are stuck. Let me show you here. All of these individual Phillips screws here. I gotta get them all out. So I'm going to cut the stator wires. I'm gonna show you here in a second with enough room that I can splice them back in. I'm making the big boy decision to pull the motor completely out of the sled, and then we might pick this thing up and carry it and go get it a wash from the hose. I mean, it does really need a wash. I know cutting the stator out is gonna cause problems, but I'm gonna cut them. I'll show you with enough room that we can splice them back together. So let's do that now. As it sits, you can see we've got the stator pulled out a little farther. So I'm gonna pop this out, this little screw that holds them all together, and then we'll get them cut. I think I'm gonna have to try and put some pressure on that. Hold on. I'm not taking that out. I'm just gonna pull this back a little bit farther. Yeah, it's ripping. I don't care that much. All right, and I'm gonna cut it right there. Grab my cutters that have magically grown legs and walked away. Those cutters. All right. Nice, clean. We'll take this. I'll set this out of the way. And I should be able to grab this and pick it up and haul it out of here, although I think I just gotta disconnect the oil sump first. There's a hose clamp, let's see, right there, that I'm gonna take off, and it's probably gonna make a god-awful mess. So let me try to pop it off, and then, yeah, we'll get this inside the barn. Hose is popped off. That actually looks really clean, so it's good. Time to pick it up, and let's take it to the barn. What I'm doing right now is I've got the engine inside. I've took the first bolt out of the oil tank, and I'm gonna take the second one out, take it all out. I'm also gonna try to remove the fuel tank. That might be a bit harder. I may leave it in. Try to take the pull cord out, and then we're gonna give it a nice, good bath. Aside from the choke cable, which I gotta figure out how to get out, the oil pump is out of the way in the oil tank. So, or I guess the oil tank, yeah, the oil pump's on the block. But there are 3 bolts here and 2 bolts here that are a half millimeter, wow, I'm losing my mind. A 13 millimeter or a half. Looks like there's also one here at the bottom. I gotta get out real quick right here. Oh, 2 here. And then it should just pop out. The oil tank, you can see, was leaking everywhere and made a horrible mess. There's one. There's 2. Now this should be, yep, I'm gonna lift it out and put it in a safe location. Fuel tank successfully relocated, freeing up plenty of room here. All right, now I might just be able to take, yep, the rip cord and just kind of get it out of this bracket that it's in here. And I gotta get this out, and then I'm gonna have to get a bag or something I can put all these wires in. Don't want to get them wet. And then it's bath time. We've got the pull cord bracket off. You take the 2 number 3 Phillips screws out right here. This pulls up. You can get to both 10 millimeter brackets. The whole thing pops off as one assembly. So this, unless I go a completely different direction and engine swap it. But as of right now, I think with a good bath, and if we can get that piston put back into the head and the block split apart without stripping all those screws out, I think we're in a decent boat to get somewhere on this thing. Still haven't figured out how to get this out, but I've started bagging some of this stuff up. Next step is going to be to undo the ground here. Looks like pop it out of this brace, pop the headlight out, and stuff it all in the bag, and then cut some zip ties, and hopefully we can shove it back away, you know, completely out of the engine bay. I'm really just hoping for out of the way. We'll see what we can do. These headlights are pretty standard. Release, pop out, there's your whole headlight assembly. We're gonna leave it all attached as much as we can. And it looks like I'm gonna need the 10 or the 8, so let me grab that and then we'll pop that out. Wouldn't you know, another 10. So we'll get that off of there. Looks like we got a washer. Set that to the side. There's our ground. Now, how do we... Might have to cut it. That's unfortunate. But we can always route it out of the way. That's probably better. Alright, once again, we're going to give ourselves plenty of room to splice it back in. And it's already uncovered, so that's perfect. And then we'll take this straight into parts pile, because I know that headlight works. I've seen it turn on. And then we can take this wire and shove it in the bag with the rest of them. All right, I've got all the engine wiring thrown up in a bag and tucked under here. It's not perfect. The carburetor's tucked under there. I might get another bag or something, try to hide all those. I don't want to get them that wet either. But I'm really just going to be spraying the water down here, trying to clean all this up probably tomorrow. The oil sump tank needs to come out. And then, yeah, we're pretty much to an empty engine bay. We're going to leave that in because that's connected to the chain and the axle drive, and I really don't want to touch any of it. I know it does work also, so that's fine. Everything else got to come out. All right, I went ahead and just pulled this cap, and you can see the choke is horrible, but this also comes out. So we're going to set this over there with the fuel tank, and tomorrow it's bath time. All right, while we're waiting to give the body a bath, we've got the engine block out. And I just really don't want to do any of this work. I really don't want to do any of that. I don't want to take all these tiny little screws out. I don't want to take the block apart. I don't want to. So, hold on. Let me just, I introduced the engine swap, because I'm not putting this 250 back in here. So this very quickly turned from a rebuild to an engine swap, and this is going to be fun. Ta-da! So we're going to pull our little fuel tag off. I did test fit it. The picture will come up on screen right here. We are going to have to take the muffler off, or at least this shroud, maybe the whole exhaust. At least this shroud hits the belt. So I'm going to pop these 2 screws out and then see what we're working with underneath. Everything else should be okay, and we're going to have to get a torque converter, but we just need the primary pulley. If you guys know how 212s work, they work on like a pit bike. They have the primary pulley and they come assembled with the secondary clutch. We have the secondary clutch on the sled, so we just need the primary pulley to feed the belt back. I think it'll be okay. It looks like it should mount, although I'm going to have to get new mounting plates made. So let's attack step number 1 and get the muffler cap off. Of course, it's never as simple as you think it is. We got these top 2 loose, and of course there's 2 more on this side, which means I have to take the exhaust off. So I'm going to pop this off, and then we'll play with it all as one unit. So I think these are going to be halves, 12s, 13s. 13s, they're going to be halves, which of course I don't have laying out. Shoot, let me find one. I was right, they were 13s. So take this off of there, and then let's take these 2 screws out, and this whole top piece should come off, and we'll be able to see what kind of exhaust we're working with. Now that we got all 4 off here, we should be able to, perfect. And then, oh, I don't know if that's going to sit out of the way enough. I might have to get creative. Hold on. All right, the engine's where it's going to have to sit. I'm seeing a couple very obvious problems. Number 1, be pretty simple. I'm going to have to drill new holes in this plate. I'm going to have to get a new one made because it's sitting like way above it. So that's problem number 1. Number 2 is this is the only way it sits that it'll clear the exhaust where it comes out. And even then, I'm going to have to come like down through the belt which is a lot of heat. I don't know how I feel about that, but there's not really a good way to make it come out. Number 3 is to get the torque converter in here. I'm gonna have to remove the hood latch, but I think without the old exhaust being in where it goes right here, we should just be able to pin it like I have it right here, and it should be fine. I think it's holding just fine. So we'll take this bracket out, and then this is a piece of pipe I found in the garage to kind of mock up an exhaust pipe, but I realized I'm gonna need the belt out here and maybe another hand. So I mean, obviously that's not gonna work, but something with a tighter bend than that maybe might go around the belt, wrap it in some heat wrap, and it's gonna be tight, but should work. What? Oh, you guys missed it. You guys missed all the magic of Byron coming to help me. So, hold on. Ta-da! It's in the barn now. This thing's not light enough that I can move it myself. This is what we're looking at. We are kind of in there, although we're definitely gonna have to get a plate made and a bigger belt, we did find out. So what we're gonna be working on right now is the wiring. Yeah, I don't really want to, but I can't get an exhaust on it, as you guys saw. Right now I gotta order a pipe, I gotta get some new plates made, so we're gonna take a couple pieces off and start working on the electronics. All right, I've successfully got all of the I guess control switches either pulled out or unplugged. Like you see the choke cable here still in there, but it's pulled out. So we're gonna set this to the side. Eventually it'll get new paint, but I am gonna try to reuse some of these maybe, or maybe just get a plate made. I'm not sure. We're gonna try to use that cover though. Next on the list is the rest of this wiring. I got the kill switch out. I got the brake lights, or this would be the headlights, high beams. And then I have to get, looks like this one here is for the brake lights. I'm slowly getting the rest of the wiring harness unplugged and out of the way. All right, and just like that, we have all the extra wiring, the ignition coil unplugged. We will need a couple of these plugs probably to get some of this other stuff wired in. If I don't like the brake lights, they're 2 different plugs. 2 wire, 3 wire, so I might tap the ground, put the 2 plug on this one, and just plug it straight in, make it very simple, but we'll have to tap a power source into that. So we're gonna have to get kind of creative, maybe use a relay or jump box. But other than that, the carburetor's got to come off now, which should be pretty simple other than this throttle cable here, which I'm gonna have, one of these I'm gonna have to take out, and then get into the Predator throttle, which is going to be the hard part. But let's get this off and then we'll get to that in a minute. Just like that, carburetor is out. End up tossing it in the other parts pile. But now we have a couple of these hoses, like this one, can pull straight out. Don't need you no more. You are throttle. You are brake. There we go. Looks a lot cleaner to me. I'm a lot happier with it. All right, I've kind of got it fitted up so where the throttle would work. We're gonna have to cut the ball off, which I'm a little scared of, and tie it off somehow. But if we get it to set inside this nut right here, there is a, let's see, little hole. And if we take the throttle cable, right, stay with me here. We cut it and we shove it through that hole and tie it off. It'll move the throttle lever. So throttle kind of figured out. Brakes we know work. Next is gonna be, I guess, the kill switch, figuring out how it's gonna go in here, and start wiring some of that up. Obviously we don't have engine mounts or anything, so nothing's going to stay permanently, but I am going to try to use the plug connector so we can just plug and unplug, as it goes. And I am going to put a battery over here, so we're going to start test fitting that, see what kind of brackets I need made for that. Yeah, it should be pretty simple, I think. Obviously we're going to give it a bath too, but like I said, it's heavier than one person can carry, so I'm going to do all the engine fitting, try to get some of the wiring, where it goes, and then we'll pop it back out and give it a nice good bath before we actually install it. I just want to take a second and say that This is awesome. Nobody I've seen has done a Predator swap on an Enticer. And if you ask Google AI, it says it's really easy. It's not exactly easy, but it's not hard from what I'm finding. And I think it's absolutely awesome, and it should provide enough power. And if you guys think I'm wrong, make sure you guys comment, and I'll make sure to reply with a video of this thing ripping in the field. It's going to be a little bit before it's done, but hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll have it ripping. All right, I figured I should keep you guys up to date on what I'm doing here. So let me spin it around. We've got the wires run all the way up to the headlight there. We're just gonna tap them in. We got the plug back in and tapped into the rear light here. Got it plugged back in and tapped in. The ground is obviously just set here for demonstrative purposes at the moment. I will get it wired in. All in all, it's actually coming together pretty well. I'm going to have to get a couple quick connects, got some more heat shrink, it looks like, and we still haven't worked on the kill switch at all. But as for the lights, it looks like they're all pretty simple. They just come on and turn off. It does have a high beam and a low beam. I don't know if I'm going to end up hooking that up, or I might just get it to turn on and be on high beam all the time. That'll pull more power, maybe just low beam, I don't know. We'll figure that out when we get to that stage. Right now, everything for the wires is kind of set out where it needs to be, like so. So, we gotta let our battery charge. Not much more I can do over here. It looks like I'm gonna have to start working on that kill switch, and then we're gonna have to work on that panel and see if we can't get some switches put in it, or I don't know what we're gonna do yet. Until the battery charges, we're gonna leave all the wiring mess alone. I'm gonna go ahead and zip this plate out. I think it's we want to say it's a 12, maybe a half, maybe a 13. Pop this plate out, give us a bit more room. I did bend this out of the way so it slides in there. It's really nice. It's where the old exhaust springs used to go. And then we're gonna work on, I already cut our square out where the gas tank's gonna hit the hood. So we're gonna take all this foam out. Hopefully it'll clear it enough. I mean, it just barely hits it, but I don't like it. So we're gonna go ahead and pull all this foam in this little cutout here. Pull it all out, and yeah, we'll see where we get. Now that we've got all the foam pulled out over there, we're going to take this plate off. All right, that switch successfully fits in the tether hole. I took the key switch out. It was very simple, just like the other ones. So now we can just play with this. I think we're gonna get it prepped for paint, and it looks like this. Oh, hopefully. Doesn't leave. I'm gonna try to peel this without leaving the sticky stuff everywhere. Might have to sand it down, but yeah, we're gonna take this. I don't know, we might try to glue it back on there. But either way, we're gonna get it painted, ready for, or get it washed, ready for paint. And yeah, I'm gonna have to look into wiring that kill switch in. Everything else seems to be doing okay. All right, thanks to a very helpful YouTube video. If you disconnect this wire right here to the oil pressure switch, you can leave the other one plugged in, and then hook your wire in, run it all the way to your kill switch, take your other wire, ground it out, you have a kill switch. It's just very simple. Honestly, it took me like 2 minutes to put in. Obviously, these are connected. I gotta get more butt ends, gotta get this stripped and crimped, gotta get a butt end on that one, but as a mock-up, it's coming together really well. Obviously, we're not going to start it like this, but we need to know where everything's going, how everything's going to work, and then I can make it look pretty while we're giving it a wash, and we can do all these other things, but we got to make it all work first. All right, we're slowly getting somewhere. These are the lights for the brake lights. Got it grounded, and get you positioned here. Ready? On, off, on, off. Yay, it works. So I'm going to get a butt-in connector, butt into these to the switch that runs up top, and then we'll get a ground wire that runs from here to the battery terminal, to the battery terminal, to the switch. From the switch, it'll go to this wire straight here, so it'll just run just like this under here, and I think that'll be okay. Might try to position the wires like, oh yeah, there we go, get them bent. That way, have them run up to the switch. That'll work. All right, I've got it crimped on here, and I used the last of my heat shrink and pretty much the last of my electrical tape too to get this one ground done. So everything else is just hanging in the balance. But we got, ironically, it does perfectly fit a switch in here. So I'm just gonna probably not leave it here, but definitely works to test it. So what we've done is we've got ground all the way around to the switch, and the other one runs to the ground of the lights, and we should be able to, I might have to put an extension on that. All right, it is rigged up, lights off. So if I flip the switch, the light here should turn on. So that's interesting. All right, I'm holding the power wire on, holding the ground on. It really didn't like our chassis ground because when I flipped the switch, the light's on. So we're gonna run it to a battery ground and then the battery ground to a chassis ground, I think. We'll just do it that way. But yeah, it works. Hurrah. All right, this is the new harness. We got ground to battery, battery ground to lights, or sorry, battery ground to switch, switch to ground on lights, lights to power. So switch flick, 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 flick. That's perfect. That's awesome. So now we're going to move on to the headlight, get it tapped into the same system, figure out the bright and the dim switch over here, and then the lights will be done, then hurrah. But yeah, let's get this cleaned up a little bit and move on to that, and then I will get some boots, some quick connects, some wire braid. We will get some heat shrink, and we'll make this all pretty. We'll do it nice, we'll do it right, but temporarily as a simple setup, it works. Yay. Another adult decision. Who needs a headlight? I just took that thing out. Honestly, I'll probably get a pod light or something, but because of the way this motor sits in here, obviously cleaned up, we're gonna want as much airflow as possible when we're riding this thing. So I think that'll do. I think that'll be okay. No headlight, put a pod light on it somewhere. I think that'll work better. And that also means we have the lights done for now. So kind of take our beam switch and hold it out of the way, I guess. And we can't hook the throttle up because we gotta give it a bath. So I guess my next stop is gonna be to get some more pieces to fix all this wiring, get some terminals for the battery, and some butt-ins for the kill switch. It's bath time. I'm gonna give this a good wash down. We'll get it a good once over with like some black paint. I don't really want to do white. Probably just black paint. Ended up putting that panel back on. Yeah. All right, we got the headlight deleted. We're waiting on the panel to dry. Tail light works, although we still got to tap it in to the brake light wiring here. So, you know, when you pull the switch. And we're also going to delete the high and low for the headlight because we're deleting it out. I'm going to put pod lights in. And it looks like, I've never taken one of these apart before, where there's two tiny little screws under here. Or that. Oh, that's awesome. Itty bitty little guys. Yeah, they tiny. Alright. There's two bolts that keep it mounted to it. Took those off. And then there's one more tiny little screw on the back right there. Once you get that off, the whole button assembly comes out. And then we'll reassemble this. But I am going to go ahead and give this a paint because we don't need that anymore. So we can fish that out. I'm gonna have to fish this one out. Somehow. Bye-bye. And here's the other half of the button here. It's literally just a piece of steel that slides in. Bye-bye. So, now that we got that part done, yeah, we're getting pretty far. Next is going to be tap the brake light lever into the battery so it'll run the lights when you pull the brake handle. After some digging into the brake switch, I found the weak spot. You can see where the wires have been crimped or something really bad here. So I'm going to have not a lot of room to splice in some new wires, but I think I'll be able to do it and just tap it into this pre-existing, literally just cut, piece of red wire, splice it back in. Other than that, it does work. It's just very questionable. So look, I'll get it, squeeze it, it's off. But if I mess with some of these wires, right, mess with the wires, now it's on, turns off. So we got a wire problem right here. I'm gonna take these two sections out, put a new piece in. Yeah, see you in a second. All right, I know this looks like a mess, but it's very simple. Ignore the tap in here. This is main power switch. Flick it on, everything has power. We put in a little accessory switch for the lights, which will actually mount up here. We'll probably leave this one tucked down here, put it into the side somewhere where you can't hit it with your foot. But yeah, you flick this one on, it'll turn the brake light on. And then if you leave this one off but turn the power on, when you pull the brake handle, the light turns on. So the rear brake setup is complete. Now I have to get my pod lights that we're going to wire into the front. But as far as wiring, we're like 50% there. We're making pretty good progress pretty quickly. After a quick run to the parts store, we've got some wire parts. We've got some wire braid. You guys will recognize this stuff if you've watched the other videos. And we got a couple nuts and bolts. I actually did fit them in here. They work perfect as terminals. I did start getting some heat shrink on. I do heat shrink them, I promise. I just tape them afterwards because I don't trust it. Like this one, it's heat shrink and then tape. You can't see it, but it is. Got the end over there done as well. I'm gonna have the rest of this done right about now. So you can see we've got a couple with heat shrink on them still, a couple that need a piece of heat shrink on them. But for the most part, like the terminal nut still needs to go on here. But for the most part, it's all set up in a way that would work. So right now we have the parking brake on, right? Power's off. So if we turn the power on, light. If we disengage the parking brake, light turns off. Squeeze the brake, light turns on. So re-engage the brake here. Right? On. And then parking brake disengaged, light off. We're going to flip our light switch, like the literal light switch, turn the lights on. Ta-da! So I'd call the wiring pretty much complete, so I'm going to start kind of putting stuff back together. Just necessarily put the handle back over there where it goes and just kind of put the basic stuff back. And yeah, we'll see you in a second. All right, we've got the brake handle back where it goes, got the cover on it, looks real nice. Got this back. It did come out a little funky, but honestly, I'm not too mad. We're going to leave it. It's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this switch. I'm going to put it right there through that hole. This is just going a little bit too well. This switch for the lights perfectly fits in here. And then the power switch just so happens to perfectly fit right there behind the battery. So, I mean, can't really complain. I think that's a good spot to hide the power switch. Just flick your hand in here and turn it on. I'm about to put this on and make sure it'll work. But yeah, it's working way too well. It's going really well. Should be nice and clean when it's done too.
3 hours later.
All right, I've redone the ground. I have put a quick connect. I stole a connector off the old harness, spliced it into the power. This will be the first test of everything plugged in. And the switch is there. I took one of my stickers that I had old and faded and stuck it on there. I still got some glue and glued the corner. Got the kill switch painted off and rewrote on. It looks better to me, I think. I don't know. Personal preference. Got the parking brake wrote on here because I am going to let people ride this who don't exactly know how these motors work. And yeah, it could be a little scary. So I need it to be pretty self-explanatory. Power switch is down here. So we should be able to flick this on and power's on. And then pull the brake light. Beautiful. And then flick the lights on. See the light on in there? And then I can squeeze the brake light and we get more. That is awesome. Yay! All right, we got a red wire run all the way around, all the way up there. And we got a black wire just tapped, grounded. The other wires are just sitting on the other side here till we get the pod light. Honestly, that's where they'll stay. But everything is wired in, connected, so if I did have the pod lights hooked up, I flipped the switch, they'd come on. So, yay. Moving on from that, I guess. I know I didn't really show you guys much of that. It was pretty simple. We just ran a wire in, put a ring terminal on it, connected it here, ran it up. Pretty simple there. Yeah, I think I'm going to work on getting some of this cleaned up, get some wire braids on some of it, and we'll see you in a second.
One eternity later.
Ta-da! Wire braid all over that one. Got wire braid on a couple of the ground and other power wires up in here, nice and pretty. Yay! So the next step, ironically, is going to be pulling some of this back out and getting ready to give it a wash while the engine plates are over at the welding shop getting modified. This is nice. I can't tell you how nice this looks. Obviously, need to glue down the corners, sticking still. But pop this open, plug the battery in. Still one of the best things I've designed so far. Flick your power switch on. Power on. Close the lid here. You can see if we squeeze the brake here, we get brake lights. Flick the lights on. We got light, squeeze the brake, beautiful. So this whole light system is pretty much finished. So we'll go ahead and turn the lights off, turn the power back off. Pull that out, beautiful. This whole light fixture, pretty much complete. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get the throttle cable probably threaded back through there. And then we're gonna unplug like the kill switch here, and it's grounded. I probably just pop it off here and tuck it out of the way. But little stuff like that. We're really just cleaning up here. I might very quickly hit like the inside of here. Might take this off and spray in here just real quick, try to get some of that cleaned up. But mainly what we're cleaning is this nasty, dirty. I mean, this sled was made in '79 and it sat outside somebody's yard for years. So you do the math on how much dirt is actually in this thing. We've gone ahead and used one of the old exhaust springs that I painted metallic a long time ago. And it looks really good. Perfect auto return spring. You can see. I mean, it's perfect. It wants to snap back. So unless you're actually like riding this and see it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Let off, stop. Let off, stop. Immediate engine brake. So perfect. We got kill switch, we got braking system, which is actually engaging, it just doesn't seem like it. And we have a snappy throttle, which perfecto. Oh, what happened? No, I'm just kidding. I got everything pulled out. Like I said, it's freaking easy. Just disconnect it, loosen the ground, unplug everything else, pops right out. It took me like 5 minutes to get everything disconnected. I'm going to work on cleaning this stuff off, and then the next thing you guys will see will be us giving this thing a bath. Well, it looks like we're going to be doing one before the other. Engine plates are back from the machine shop, so I'm going to talk to you guys over what I had done, and then we'll put them in the sled. This is the original front piece, and I cut out a little piece of cardboard that I needed them to cut off the lip and make a little piece out. And it was kind of complicated, but it was pretty simple. They decided they were going to make a new piece, and then I got 2 holes drilled here for, not these bolts, these are for this plate, but for the new mounting screws. And then this is the plate they had made, right? Sits here, same size bushing there should be. And then these will sit in there like that. And these will be mounting it up to the Predator. So let me very quickly kind of mock it up and let's make sure it works. Up to this stage, everything fits, everything is tight, everything, I mean, I'd have to pick the whole sled up if I tried to pick it up from right there, so that's awesome. Let's put the motor in it and pray to God my engine mounts line up. All right, it had me scared there for a second, but it will be. Oh, screw that. This is just the other one that I have retrofitted until we get it and get our new one in. But they line up. If I push them all the way that way, as far as they go, just kind of my worry. We're just gonna have to make this big gap here. Normally you have it spun the other way around, but the way this is set up, I don't have a choice. We'll just spin the other way and around. Hopefully it'll be okay. I mean, obviously we'll do a quick couple test pulls with it like up in the air or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, engine mounts should work, I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the annoying thing of popping everything back out of the car. Wow, I do too much automotive work, dude. Back out of the sled body, and yeah, we'll give it a wash. My favorite part of every project. Next thing you guys see is going to be either these done or us giving it a bath. We'll catch you later or tomorrow. Alright, if you guys have watched any of the previous videos, you know that I can't leave well enough alone. So, I maybe did a thing. I painted the inside of the hood all black, and I think it looks phenomenal, and I think you can argue with me all you want. I don't care, it's not heat paint. It's just like your standard can of spray paint from Walmart. But it looks fantastic, and shut up, it's spray paint. It looks great. So I'm gonna get the hood latch back in. It bolts in, might have lost, I might have to go find it. I might have fallen out. But I gotta get the hood latch back in here and then the rest of the engine back in. So I will catch you guys in a second. Tell me that don't look good, that purple and black paint. Tell me that don't look good. Tell me that don't look good. You can argue with me all you want, but it looked good. Now it's time to put the engine plates in, and let's get the Predator mounted, and then we'll put the rest of the wiring in. One. And nice and tight. That plate looks really nice. Now it's time to get that Y-shaped one right here. Alright, that looks pretty darn good if you ask me. We're going to clean this thing up yet. This plate isn't super tight because I want to get the engine kind of in here and where it needs to be first. And then we will tighten these two down. Make sure the plate is exactly where it needs to be. So let me get the engine in there, and then we might have to go to the parts store and get some more bolts. And I definitely need longer bolts, but twin corners, you can see it way back there. It fits, and so does the other side. So it'll work. I just need to go get some nuts and some high quality bolts. So we're gonna run the rest of the wiring that I pulled out. Shouldn't take me very long, and then yeah, we'll take a trip to the parts store. We've got the headlight wiring back in place. Looks really nice. So now I'm going to get the annoying part, all of this. I mean, I can take the battery and take it over there separately, right? But I gotta get this back on there and just kind of get things plugged back in. So I will see you in un second. Ta-da! Really didn't tank log and all. We got everything back in place. We should be able to flip the power on. Right, nothing happens. Squeeze the brake. Light turns on. Flip the light switch. Light turns on. Beautiful. Alright, I'll unplug it. Hoorah, that awesome. So now we can focus back on this. I know I literally just said we were going to work on that, but I'm trying to slide this back on, and I'm getting like Darth Vader helmet vibes, like spaceship cockpit vibes, like it just slides up, and then, you know, this is supposed to be real nice and slick. Ta-da! I'm going to get a couple bolts that are meant for this and just kind of nicely thread them in, hold it in place, and then yeah, we'll focus on this. So I might have broke the other one, but we've got it in here kind of with a nice little chain. It looks kind of nice, and I freaking broke it here. So I'm gonna lay some silicone, set it down, let it glue. My fault. But other than that, yeah, it looks pretty good, and I don't see that chain being an issue. I think it looks pretty good, and when it closes, see, it falls nice in that hole every time. So it should be out of the way. I think it'll work. Woo. Woo! Like a kid on Christmas. So we got our brand new torque converter. I replaced that one that we've been kind of mocking stuff up with. And then we got our pod lights. Ooh. Oops. Very pretty. We got 2 of those. Got the hardware for it. And somewhere. And oh, here it is. We have the flange for the exhaust. So we're gonna throw this. It'll sit right there, and then we're gonna get a pipe welded to it and make our own exhaust for this thing. So we're gonna work on putting the pod lights in. Let me close the hood and we'll get it mocked up. All right, it's not perfect, and like this one isn't mounted in. It'll be straighter once it is, but this one is mounted, and I'm not sure I like how straight it is. We might end up moving it over a notch, but that'll be where they go. And I think it'll look all right. I was originally planning to do something like up here, but yeah, that would have been a mess, to be honest. So I'm just gonna try to reuse the grill here, and yeah, I'm gonna get them mounted in, and then we'll work on wiring them up and see if we gotta move them at all. All right, there they are mounted. Not perfect. This one's a little crooked still, but you know, fixed it a little. I'm gonna get them wired in. Very simple lights. These were $12 lights from Amazon. You pay for what you get for. I ended up having to find my own bracketry for the other side because it came with these obnoxiously long bolts that don't thread in at all. So really confused there. But like I said, power ground, power ground, power ground. So this will be real easy. I'm gonna run both of them to this, and then both of them to this, and then we'll flick the power on, and let's see what it looks like, see how bright it is. I'll shut the door and turn the light off in here so we'll get a good idea actually how bright it will be. A little bit of quick splicing later, and they're hooked up. So let me close the hood, shut the garage door, turn the light off, get the power and everything hooked up, and we'll see you in a second.
A few moments later.
Got the power hooked up. Let me prove it here. Should be able to flick the lights, and woo! Those are bright. Yeah, those look nice. Nice and blinding bright. Yeah, that's very nice. I already did that one, but to finish it off, I guess I pay for what I get here. There we go. Very nice. Headlights are done. So next, probably tomorrow, we will install the torque converter onto the motor here, replace this one, and then we'll get some engine mount bolts, and it should be running even if it's not moving the sled yet. All right, now that the headlights work beautifully, we've got the throttle cable kind of mocked up where it needs to go. I got to figure out how to get it in here somewhere. But what we're going to work on next is getting this properly mounted. So you can see I have a bolt kind of just sort of threaded in here to fit, but 2 out of the 4 don't exactly fit perfectly. So I'm going to, I got a drill bit. I'm going to drill them out just a little bit, make them just a little bit wider. Hopefully this will fit because you can see it is not quite straight, but it is pretty close. So I'm going to adjust a couple of them, make sure it's nice and tight, get it bolted down, and we'll see you in a second. Like magic, the engine is bolted down. I got the holes to fit. It's nice and solid. I mean, if I try to pick it up, I'm going to end up picking the whole sled up. So that's awesome. Engine's mounted in pretty straight. I'm very happy with it. So the next order of business, now that the engine is mounted, to get it running, we have to get the throttle cable inside that little hole right there and out the other side. So I'm going to play with this, try to get this done. And once we get the throttle hooked up, we might try to start it today. Depends on how much time I have left. But yeah, this thing might run today, tomorrow, sometime very soon. You know, we're right to the very end where we're going to need a different belt, throttle cable hooked up, oil, fuel, make sure the kill switch works, obviously. Past that, this should be back on the road pretty soon. I mean, road, grass, this thing will do whatever, I'm thinking. I mean, you know, the 212 is not a lot of power compared to the 250 motor, but if we degalvanize it later on, I think we can get some power out of it. Right now, we're going to leave it stock, see how well it does. But yeah, let's hit this throttle cable, see what I can do with it, and maybe we get somewhere today, maybe we don't.
Eventually.
Alright, after looking up a quick YouTube video to make sure I was right, I need to tighten this nut a little bit more. But you can see we got the throttle cable threaded through here. Once you pull this out, there's barely enough space you can thread this wire through. Tighten this nut, hold it tight, tighten that screw down. And then you take this bracket off, thread it through. And now when we squeeze this, and you can see we don't really have much more of a resting position. So let me get everything tight, and then we'll put the airbox back on, and we might have startup today. I'm not sure, I am running out of time, but we're at least gonna get the airbox and everything put back together. Got a spring on there, got an old bracket off the old carburetor we're actually gonna use to keep it tight. I actually should probably tighten it down a little bit more, but for the most part, springs back perfectly into that released zone. So I'm gonna tighten that up a little bit more, but yeah, the throttle is now hooked up. We've got it all back together. What I'm doing right now is I pulled the drain plug. We're gonna drain out all the lubricating oil that this was put together with. We're gonna fill it up with some 530. It takes only half a quart, and we're probably gonna get some 1030 to actually run it properly. But to start it up, make sure the throttle, the kill switch, everything works. We're just gonna put a little bit of 530 in it, put some gas in it, and we should be able to start it up. So I'm gonna get the oil flushed, changed out here, and we'll catch you guys in about 5 minutes when I got all this done, and we're ready to start it up. All right, I just topped it off with a little bit of oil. Obviously, this is not how the exhaust is gonna stay, but this is how it'll work for us to run it. I'm gonna have to get a pipe made that'll run all the way down, maybe back through that hole. I'm thinking just maybe a hole right here in the side, just run it straight down, straight through. But while we have it not hooked up with the belt, we should be able to run it with this, get it started, make sure the kill switch, the throttle, everything works, and then we'll take that back off, get an exhaust made, get a belt for it. But as for overall project and closeness, we're about 90% out of, well, the 0% shell that we had. So I'm gonna put some gas in it, wipe my hands off because they're kind of oily, and then we might try to fire it up. You guys are over there now? Hi. We've got gas in it, we've got oil in it. Other than flipping the kill switches, it should be good to go. So we're gonna follow our order here. We're gonna plug in the battery. And then, let's see. I'm gonna pull it a couple times with the kill switch off, that way we can get some of the oil cycling through. Just pull it nice and easy. All right, kill switch is live. We are in run position up here. Should start. Let me turn the fuel on here. Ready? All right, attempt number 2. Flick the kill switch to on. Get some go-go juice. She might be a little low on gas still, but it started. Yay! All right, it started downpour raining, but I'm gonna make this quick. I'm just gonna add thread lock to all of these, take them back off, thread lock them up, tighten them all back down, and I'll catch you in a second. All right, everything's nice and tight. So hypothetically, should be able to just, oh, hold on. Doing better, it's shaking. I've gone ahead and put a little bit more oil in it. Everything's switched to on. Probably almost the fuel is turned on. It just doesn't want to stay live. Very happy about it either. Alright, it's running a half year idle. I don't really get it, but right, now that we know that it's tight and running, we just have two things left. We have the belt and the exhaust. So I've gone ahead and grinded down. You see it was black, had heat paint on it. Grinding down this side of it. This will be the side that sits just like this. And then we'll take our pipe, I'll get it sanded down, and we're gonna tack it just like that. And hopefully the belt will go around it. I don't know, I'm gonna get a belt before we actually finish the exhaust, but hypothetically this should work, and then we'll be able to put an extension on it or something. Yeah, this is kind of my thought process. So I gotta go get a belt, and then we'll keep mocking up the exhaust, and this thing should move. I mean, it'll move in the next couple of days, definitely. What I'm doing right now is I'm mocking up the exhaust. So you can see the pipe I'm kind of probably going to have a cutout for, get it run out there. You can see it mocked up in there all the way to the flange. So it'll probably come out right there out of this. I'm going to cut a little divot in the hood. Probably run something like that, make it a little shorter, make it flush. But I think that's what we're going to run with, and the belt should be able to clear it. So I'm going to notch this little hole, and then we'll go get a belt. We'll get the exhaust welded up, and it should run. I mean, fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed. Looks like I need to go a little bit higher, but other than that, it's coming along very nice. Still got it where it needs to be, but woo, baby! Come up a little higher. Thinking maybe peel this 250 off and get like a 212 emblem. I think would be cool. But we're trying to leave it as much as stock as possible because I want to take it to like the dunes or something, or maybe ride it out here and make people think it is an Enticer, especially when we go to sell it, and then pop the hood and show all the custom work and little stuff like this. You'll be able to tell, you know, get a kind of, I don't know, a little exit. It might be cool, but probably cut it about here maybe. I don't want to flush it here, but maybe so it doesn't stick out as much. I don't know. This might work when you're riding it, keep it away from you. We'll see. I do need to notch it up a little bit, but it is coming along very nice. All right. 2 belts later, we have one that might work. I don't know. I'm going to have to take the tensioner cap off here. Or not the tensioner cap. Wow. I was just messing with the vet. If you guys haven't seen that, check out the other video. Quick plug. Not sorry. Anyway, take off the primary pulley here, slip the belt on, and then pull it nice and tight, and we'll see. I might have to get a smaller one. I'm a bit scared about that. But we're going to pop it off, see if it'll fit, and we'll go from there. This one's not going to work either. I'm going to have to get another belt. Well, I guess we're going to go down to the 46. I'm going to measure the gap here with a tape measure and then subtract it from the difference on the belt. The belt's a 49 inch, so I like to say this is a 3-inch gap. Then I'll go get a 46-inch belt, and we'll see if that one works. And I'll just keep doing that instead of wild guessing like I was doing kind of with this first couple. So I guess let me go back to Roll King and get another belt. This is why I can't reuse the old one, by the way. This is the old belt. It won't reach. So I'm going to measure that difference, and then we'll go get another belt. And hopefully I don't have to get another one after that. Fingers crossed, right? Like 4 trips to Roll King later and one minor indent to the belt. It's on there. It's pretty tight. I'm going to get it centered onto this gold bearing here, and then I will show you guys how to correctly put this together. The first piece is this big, I guess, disc. It slides on. It's got the little bearing that it'll spin on, and then you've got this outside spring cover. Lines up. This indent lines up on the outside of, oh shoot. You get this piece, right? And this one will slide on like this, and then you'll line all your pieces up at the end, or actually it's like this, and it'll sit inside of that, just like that, and it stays locked. So I'll show you when I put that together. Right now I'm gonna get this centered, and yeah, we're getting real close. All right, that was a process, but it's on there. Woo! This thing might move yet. So now all we have left in exhaust. I don't think I'm gonna be able to mock it up with the stock exhaust. Yeah, it's gonna hit that wheel. So I'm gonna have to get something made before we can run this. But we're getting real close. All right, while we're waiting on the exhaust to get mocked up, I did start it and attempt to move it, and it took pretty much all the Predator's power to move it, but it did move it. So we're gonna take this off, attempt to put one of my air intakes on it. We're gonna tighten up that governor spring down in there, mess with that stop screw, kind of add a little bit of power if we can. Might honestly change the ignition coil out while I'm at it. I have the other one. Yeah, it's time to add some power. We honestly might change the main jet down here too. Let's add some power to this thing. All right, we got our old air filter and our new one. I drilled a hole in the top of it, installed it right on. Looks very nice. So next step, we're probably gonna take this pull cord and rotate it so the pull cord is facing this way, not necessarily get it in the same spot. As cool as it would be to like get it wrapped around here where it's not possible, but we might spin it so you don't have to stand up here next to the hood like my arm is, and instead you just got to stand right here. And I don't know, we might do that. I'm just gonna look on minorly improving performance, and I don't know if this belt is gonna work. What I've been seeing is I might need a bigger belt. So yeah, we're just gonna keep trying to add a little bit of power, and we might look into the belt issue in a little bit. We got the pull cord flipped around there, nice and easy to pull now. Here's how it's sitting. Got the belt on it. Everything seems to line up pretty well. Got the new air filter on it. Actually working on getting a better, I'll show you on the go-kart here. This little flange here that bolts on, I'm looking at getting just this piece so we can actually take this whole air box off and mount it to the side like it's supposed to be, but this will work for now. We need to get this exhaust on it. This will help a little bit. Got that governor adjusted. But I am stumped right here because for the last week, I have been trying to find a welder. Nobody around me has a welder they can bring out here and weld. And the machine shop that I got the engine plates done at, they can do it, right? But I'd have to take this to them. And if you know what I drive an 84 Corvette. There's no way in any world that this is going in that car to go to the machine shop. So, this is the problem, right? It's Tuesday, it's video day. Video's supposed to go out today. If you guys are watching the video today, you guys are watching this, and you guys understand my problem. It's downpour raining. On top of everything else, it's raining outside. So, I think what we're going to do is we're going to end up calling the video here. I'm going to talk through very quickly on what we did, what we went over, kind of what we changed, what we added, what we took out, kind of go over some of the monetary values. I'll kind of I got a rough idea on the weight difference, on the power difference, so I'll quickly walk you guys through that. And then we'll cut the video without the exhaust being welded because video's got to come out today. I've been promising you guys a good video. And so the exhaust will sit like that. But until I get a welder, that's a dream, honestly. So what's going to end up happening is this video is going to go live. And we will do a part 2 probably next week or the week after. Hopefully next week. I'm really praying for next week, but I can't promise. That we get a welder and we'll take this out and we will road test this, we will grass test this, we'll actually test this if I still have it. I have it listed on Facebook. If anybody wants a 212 stop snowmobile, make sure you leave me a comment or a message. We can try to figure something out. I'd love to sell it to somebody who wants to have more fun with it than I will. But as it sits, it is almost done, and let me walk you guys through what we did, how much we've got in it, and basically the long list I've been avoiding talking about. All right, we've got our sled go fast list. I think it's a pretty appropriate name for our list. This is just the monetary list that I made up. So before I go over this very quickly, what we took out the fuel tank, the big one that sat here. We took out the oil sump tank that sat here, the 250 motor that obviously went here. Couple pieces, couple brackets. We took out the headlight from up front. This casing in here, this little area where the battery is right here that I showed you when we did all the wiring, was actually pretty empty. It was just full of like dirt and mouse turds and random other gross, I can't say that, random gross stuff. We'll just say stuff, because the word I was going to use is definitely not appropriate for YouTube. But anyway, we did all that, and then we modified the engine plates. We had to figure out an exhaust. We had to get a few things switched around. It didn't have to delete the headlight, but I chose to. You definitely have to get everything onto a battery system. You can't get them to be powered off of the Predator because the Predator doesn't have a stator in it. That's not how they work. So if you were to try to do something like this yourself, you would have to put a battery in it and get the lights or whatever other systems. I mean, usually it's just like a lighting system, headlights, taillights, reverse lights, whatever. If it's got a backup mode, which is cool because not a lot of snowmobiles do, but if you're doing this on like a four-wheeler, whatever, it's the same kind of concept. Snowmobile is just very simple because it's got the big belt here that kind of set the plan out. I kind of just saw it as the old 250 motor was sitting in here, but it's enough yapping about all that. Just you'll have to set it up to a battery system. All in all, we really didn't change too much. We got it back in, time for the list, right? We got it back in October, November of last year, so 24. It is now October of 25. So a year later, we swapped the engine out. We bought this for $160. So we got the entire sled with the 250 motor not running for $160. Then we bought a piston for that motor because we thought we could get it to run, and it ends up like we got to take the whole block apart and all that good jazz. So I don't know if we're going to count that piston or not, but if we do, it was $40, all right? So we got 160, $40, that's $200 what we were going to have in a running sled. That's not a lot, that's not bad. I think we got some gaskets in there, but I'm not really going to count it because they were like $5-10 tops. Then we got the 212, I decided to swap it. The 212 motor was about $160 from Harbor Freight. Modified the engine plates for $30, got all the wiring and extra pieces that we needed for about $20. Not including the pod lights. I already had the switches, I already had the battery. I just had to buy a couple like wire crimps, some more heat shrink, you know, the little stuff. The belt cost us $10 from Rule King. It's a good old Rule King belt, and if it goes out or if it breaks, I'm not mad about buying another one. Exhaust flange, the little flange we got up here for the exhaust to weld it up, cost me $5 from Amazon. Another good Amazon purchase. Another good Amazon purchase. The next three are just awesome Amazon purchases. Exhaust flange for $5. Torque converter for $20. That's that big, yeah, you guys know what the torque converter is. The primary pulley for the torque converter setup that we mounted onto the secondary pulley for the sled. And then the pod lights, the two pod lights that we got up front that are 2-wire power negative, and I think they're 3,000 lumens. They're either 1,000 or 3,000 lumens. And I got them for $12. Those are $12 headlights, and they're awesome. I love them. So all in all, if you include the parts that we bought for the old motor, which is the piston, and rings, it was like $40. We have $447 in this as it sits. If you don't include that, I have $407, which you can round down to $400, which means this is a $400 212 Predator swap, which I think is phenomenal. And I don't mind sharing the money with you guys. Obviously, if somebody watches this video and tries to buy it from me, I might ask a little bit more, but it's because I did the work on it. It'll probably be in a better state when it is sold, like with the exhaust on. I might degovern it in a later video, but as it sits, we've got about 400, 440 in it. However you want to do the math, I'm going to call it $400 because that's what makes me happy. I like being the cheap ass. I'm a good old cheapo. But I'm also very happy that we were able to do this for cheap and that a lot of things kind of just hooked up and fit a little bit too well. So I want to thank you guys for watching this part of the video and the rest of it. Honestly, if you made it this far, I'm very thankful about that.
Eventually.
I want to thank you guys for watching this video and everything else that I've posted. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you go check it out because those videos are also really well. I've touched base on my buddy's 97 Firebird. We fixed my 84 Corvette. We do all sorts of fun things. We actually got a motorcycle we're working on. I got a four-wheeler that you guys haven't seen yet. Lots and lots of fun things coming. This is the really big project. It's taken me the last couple of weeks to just kind of put together, do some math. If anybody tells you you don't need math, they're idiots. You just don't need Algebra 2. There's a difference. Anyway, hope you guys really enjoyed. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Go check out the store at themischiefstore.com. I'll leave a link to it in the description and it's in the bio of the YouTube channel. Make sure you check it out. And we'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye. you want to get merch, make sure you go to themischiefstore.com. We have lots of cool things. Make sure you stay informed. And you guys, if you guys want to see us rip this thing in a later video, make sure you guys follow. Make sure you guys subscribe. You can also find us on TikTok at mischief.racing. I couldn't get Mischief TV. It was already taken. So mischief.racing on TikTok, or make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, and we'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye.